call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McKinney and Ms. Schott will not be with us tonight.
Motion to excuse them.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Minutes?
Motion for the minutes.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Abstain.
Richards?
Yes.
And Bailey?
Yes.
Bills?
Motion.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
And Bailey?
Yes.
Okay, workers' time report. Should have two of those. Fireman's time.
You need a motion on that one.
Fireman's
Fireman's time? Huh?
You
Yeah,
got
you
one?
didn't get one? I got one.
Oh, yeah. I got one.
Everybody got one? Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
And Bailey?
Yes.
Mrs. Wrench, you are up.
Today, Amy and I completed the first direct deposit for the payroll. Everything seemed to go into the bank correctly. We're gonna double check, make a phone call, make sure that they get it on their end. And we're assuming that payroll will hit the banks this Thursday, as we've said in the past. We have started, as I had mentioned, the 2022 budget that's in progress. And then I have the readings of legislation. I have the second reading of ordinance number 2108, and ordinance authorizing advertisement for bids and sale of personal property no longer needed for any municipal purpose of the Village of Beach City, Ohio. And also the second reading of resolution number 2105, a resolution to authorize the village administrator to execute a contract with an American Transmission System Incorporated for an electric load study. And that's all I have.
Mr. Miller, you are up, sir.
Okay. Michael Miller, I have a property that I'm releasing. I'm selling up at Amish Shore. And you may know I'm not in the restaurant anymore, handed it over to the family. And I appreciate doing business with you. I recognize the president, the council, and I appreciate all of you in the past years. And Mr. President, what I'm requesting in the land which we have a possible hookup for sanitary sewer. I'm asking what would be the possibility and what's needed for that. I have before me some of the information, the sale of,
I will do that to.
Okay. and I give one to you two here if you want to look at it. And another one here. That's the starting on the sale will be on the 26th of July, 6 p.m., which is right out of the outside of Wilmot, just right down the hill to the west. And there's two parcels, and
Are they across from the yellow barn?
No.
Not that one.
This is just down from Amish Shore.
Okay,
Yeah, the only thing is the, there's 6 acres between, which is a circular land between this and mine. And,
What do you need to know, Milo?
Well, on the,
Do you know what they're gonna be putting in there?
well, no, at public sale, I don't know what's gonna be, I was just wondering what the possibility of having sewage down there. They're at the Amish Shore Market, right at the very end where the sign is, which goes into Amish Shore, there's a manhole there, big manhole there, 4 feet wide, goes down 8 feet rather. And I contacted Trail Plumbing, which they could run a line underneath the road, be right along the road that would go down. This is a little bit bigger picture of the, this is right below it. And this is the lane that goes in where the Spikers used to live, where that farm was sold back in. Then this is a creek, then this goes up the hill. But right down here is a low spot, and it could be, so sanitary sewer could be hooked up to that. So I'm requesting, I'd like to possibility of what I could hook up to the sewer from each city.
So we would probably need a lift station?
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
oh yeah, definitely, at this stage, to pop it up there.
Do we have, I remember a few years ago, we had a copy of the rules and regs for sewer. Does that still exist somewhere?
Yeah, I haven't had an opportunity to look into all of that. We're trying to find some of our records for capacities and what we can sustain over there. So until we get all that information, and we may have some engineering or something done to look at that.
I think we'd have to have somebody, we'd have to know exactly what they want too.
Yeah,
Somebody's
yeah.
gonna buy it and farm it, they don't need it.
Right.
Yeah, if a farmer buys it, whoever, whatever, the possibility is as it goes up the hill, there could be some very nice home sites and so forth.
Yeah, if you knew you was gonna do this, if you would've got a hold of us earlier, we could've had some information, but we'll try and get it to you as,
Okay,
as fast as we can.
all right.
Um,
And I'm just asking, is there a possibility that you can handle more and so forth?
Yeah, we'll check that out.
Okay, and,
And we'll let you know how much it would be, because somebody's gonna come in here and put an allotment in there, 19 acres.
yeah,
You could put a lot of houses in there.
well, they could,
I mean, it depends upon what you wanna do.
yeah, at the same time, yeah, I don't know, once you sell it, I don't know what your intentions are, but yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that the houses that would go in would be nice, that they just would fill it up with a lot of houses, I don't know what
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, yeah,
The more you jam in there, the more you make.
Yeah, and
Well-
I know the, on June 22nd, 2016, Jeff Carr with ADR had emailed your attorney at the time when you were looking at developing it and said, that we're in the process of putting in a new pump station, and if you're going to want sewer service for the property, Beach City needs to be informed quickly, or a brand-new pump station may be installed that won't allow for the kind of growth potential you want. That was on the previous request for sewer. So I don't know what was installed, that's what I think
That's
we'd
what
all
we
need
need
to
to find
look
out.
into, but it's possible that because they didn't have the notice then, and they were asking for it, like they said, that maybe a new pump station that can allow for that kind of growth.
Was that, this property behind the fire station though at that time?
oh,
That
yeah.
wasn't this property.
No, no, that's another property,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Actually, Trail Plumbing connected that then.
Okay.
This is your own personal property.
Yes, yes, it
That
is.
yourself.
Mhm.
Has nothing to do with the restaurant.
No, it has nothing to do with the restaurant. More than it would connect up where the restaurant or the market is. It's right at the sign where that manhole is. It goes through there, and then it could be connected to that. But, President, what do, you say you wanna, you tell me what your plans are as far as?
Yeah, we'll have to check stuff out,
Okay.
you know.
Do I understand you have another meeting, is it the 3rd?
Yeah, we'll have one on the 19.
Mhm. So,
Oh, 18, okay.
19, okay. All right, so could I come and you could pursue and?
Yeah, we'll try and get you as much information as we can too.
Okay.
My girls are busy.
Yeah.
And I got, Debbie,
Okay.
she's got a lot of stuff. She's breaking in somebody too,
Mhm.
so, but we will do what we can.
Okay, I appreciate it.
for you.
Thank you very much.
Jack, is there anybody else on here?
Negative.
Okay.
Nobody else.
You wanna talk, sir?
You can-
If I may.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You wanna sign in there?
Oh, yeah.
That way we'll know who you are.
I did a story on you a few years ago, and you hired that new restaurant manager, but I was over there, and they said he's not
I
there
just happened to
anymore.
learn.
No.
I knew he was coming.
Different ones. Which one was it?
He was a big, tall guy, he was from Tennessee, he was out of state or something.
Wasn't, I had hired Figueroa, he was his manager. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, when he's been going. They had different.
That's all right.
Different ones, he did.
Mark Lembacher.
I-
Yeah.
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Bart. Go ahead, sir.
All right, well, yeah, this is kind of last notice, so I want to thank you, President, members of council. Recognize you, appreciate this. I just saw you had a meeting, so I thought I'd run over. One of you ladies was nice enough to call me last week about our crazy water bill increase. So it looks like, according to this, we use 72,000 gallons of water. So I'm not sure what's going on, and I don't know where to go from here. We did your test and the dye in the toilets, and there's nothing coming through. So I took, I think we used just over 300 gallon now in the last week. And the day we talked, and I'm not sure who I talked to.
Probably Abby, huh?
Yeah, would have been Abby. I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is our village administrator, Mr.
Okay.
Spivey.
And I don't know if this is the right place to bring it either, but I knew you were having a meeting. I thought I'd bring it here and see what you guys suggest. So, yeah, I don't know where the road's going. There's nothing wet around the house, and it's like a mystery. We have in the shower, the bathtub shower combination, it drips some, so I need to get that fixed.
Well, that's, yeah, that's not 72,000.
This went from 1 month,
Well, the month before, we had a bill of over $400, which is crazy. It's usually 100
20,000
change.
gallons,
Yeah.
something like that. I think
Okay.
Abby was telling me,
Okay.
yeah. And then it popped up to 7.
Yeah, and we were gone part of the time too, so I don't know what.
So over the last month then, the current one, were you gone at any point during that?
Yes, we were going for a week during that time.
Yeah.
So we figured, well, we were shocked to see it was 400.
Yeah.
But I figured, well, you know what, maybe a neighbor used water. I don't know. But now this, here, it jumped to, I look more at the dollars than the gallon.
Right.
So we're at 1,200. So,
1,200 gallon?
$1,200.
Oh, can I see that one?
yeah, 72,000.
Where do you live at, Ken?
Out on 250, just past the intersection of 212 there. You're about 4 or 5 houses down there.
We're the last ranch house in that road ranch, 6 houses from.
Yes.
On the left-hand side.
Yes.
So I know the water department has been to your house a couple times now, the last couple days,
They have, okay?
and they're trying to get you at home, and that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
We suspected possibly your meter is out at the road, and it's a long ways back to the house from the meter to the house.
Okay.
And we suspected possibly a leak between the meter and your house. But when we've gone out there to check it, each time we've gone, the meter's not turning.
Yeah.
Because there's a leak indicator on the meter. So when we visually look at it, we can tell it's not turning. So it's not leaking in the ground. So that leads us to believe either you have a toilet running, a spigot left on, Or when you vacate the house for any length of time, someone knows and they're using your water. If you don't have any issues in the house, and that's why we wanted to come in and just look at things while you were there. We don't have an answer for that. All we know is the water did go through the meter because the meter's working. So,
Yeah, and I apologize, last week after she called, I was leaving for Pennsylvania on Wednesday. We moved our son and his family to Asia, took him to the airport. So we didn't get home till, we got home last night, I guess it was. But our kids were home, but in and out, so
yeah.
that was kind of inconvenient, but,
Do you have water running to any other outside buildings?
no, everything's by the house.
Because I know we had one issue here in town where it was leaking between the house and the garage, and he was like, well, I got it shut off at the garage, but it was leaking in between.
We have we have one faucet in the garage, and one in the front of the house, and one faucet in the back of the house.
So
But everything's dry around there. I don't know if you walked around the perimeter, but there's, that much water's gonna show up somewhere.
yeah, and it wasn't from watering your garden or anything like that.
No, we haven't watered the garden. Well, I did a few watering cans full, but haven't run a hose.
Okay.
Like, last summer, we watered the garden quite a bit, and I think our biggest bill was, I think it was still under 200.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely a leak. It's substantial. Like,
Yeah.
I know from experience that a toilet over a month's time can use 80,000 gallons.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we send you the leak kit and there's instructions. And it's either that or someone's using your water when you're not there. Because that's a lot of water. And if it was leaking somewhere, usually you see it. It's obvious, especially that amount of water.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have an easy answer for that. But the guys would like to come out, you know, and go over that with you and look in the house and make sure they don't see anything, you know?
Do you have a water softener?
We do. But
When
it's-
do you have it set to clean itself? How many times?
Well, it's an ancient one, and I have to manually set it to clean, so I do it about once a week. But I haven't in the last 2 weeks.
'Cause I know sometimes those things will screw up and they'll just continue to clean themselves.
If it gets stuck on a backwash cycle, that's a lot of water.
That might,
Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios there then, and that's why they wanted to come and look and see what all areas it could possibly be in and
What
out.
do you have open, Jim, for the guys going out there?
It's up to him.
When are you gonna be there?
Um,
They work from 7:30 to 3:30, I think.
could we do Friday? I'll be around Friday,
If you would for me, call Abby
okay?
and set up a schedule, because she'll make a work order out, and that way everything's documented, and the guys will know, and
Yeah,
we'll get a hold of you and make sure you're there and come out.
all right.
Yeah,
So I'll set up the appointment with Abby.
yes.
All right. If we can't find anything, is there any leniency to that?
well, talk about that, I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Well, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, oh, I understand that, yeah, that's a pretty rough one. It might be that water, so anything that gets old like that, it can, just like old air conditioners, stuff like that, they can whack you hard.
That happened to
Softener?
a resident in town that we know we're friends with. The softener was doing something, and it
Just kept
just
using
jacked
water.
up their water bill
Yeah.
by a lot.
You may wanna go out and get a new one before Friday, I'm serious. I mean, it sounds like this
Just in
thing
case.
is really blasting.
But I know whenever I had an issue several months ago, and mine ended up being a toilet in the basement that didn't run all the time, but still like 9,000 gallons a month, and it don't take long to add up. So what I was doing was looking at my meter every day, and I would write it down to see when I was using an excessive amount, and then I did it like tracing it down, but it took some investigation. But if it was a leak, it would be a constant, correct?
That's correct. If there was a leak, the
It's
meter
not
would
a
constantly be, you know, the leak indicator would be turning.
Yeah.
And
And in like 15 minutes, you can tell, or 15 minutes, an hour or so, you can tell there's a little bit of movement, and I think it's because of our the drip in the bathtub. It's like a quart or something like that. It's not nearly a gallon,
Yeah.
but, I've been checking the meter too now about every 3 days, and it seems like everything's fine, but
But the minute you go away, it seems the other thing, doesn't it?
You got someone that don't like you?
I don't
That
know.
sneaks into your house and turns on your bathtub and let it run for 24 hours, you'd use that much water coming out of a bathtub easily.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of ways, and, you know, we're not sitting here accusing anyone, but
Sure, yeah.
there's things you need to look at, you know.
Well, I appreciate your time and appreciate your consideration of the bill and what you can do to, at least if we can't find anything, what you can do to lower that to.
One more question,
Yes, sir.
are you on the city's sanitary sewer system?
We are not.
You're not, so
No.
everything's going into your,
Yeah,
Septic
everything's going into the septic, yeah.
okay.
So, and usually, like, if we have all our married kids come home and everybody's showering, then a little bit of a load for the septic, so I don't think it's been going, I don't think it's been going into the septic either, we didn't notice that, so.
Yeah, you'd think it would have pushed up somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, so, it's a mystery at this point, but
We'll keep working on it.
thank you very much, I appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Take care, y'all.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, chief guy.
How are you guys doing?
That's a lot of,
How much was it?
72,300 gallons.
Yes.
Oh, that's impossible.
No, not
How
really.
much is a pool hold, an average pool?
Pool holds about, what, 6,000 gallons?
Use 1,000 gallons a month.
But if you turn a spigot on, I mean, that toilet of mine, I ran from 3,000 to 9,000 a month. So it was an extra 6,000 just in that thing. It don't take long to go through that much water.
Maybe somebody is, did he say his kids are there?
It sounded like,
Did
yeah,
his kids are there?
maybe they left the spigot on.
In and out they are.
Yeah, see, kids don't.
Alrighty, first thing that's not on my list is I have the unclaimed and abandoned junk vehicle affidavit filled out. I just wanna have you look over it, Steve, and, certify, or, notarize that for me. And then we can get that probably certified and mailed to the owner of the vehicles in one of our abandoned properties. And this will, should order it into, it's an unclaimed and junk vehicle affidavit. Gives us 10 days for them to respond to our letter and for them to forfeit it to us. So paperwork started on that. I'm gonna work with Steve on this, make sure everything's filled out properly, get it notarized, and then probably have, see if we can get it sent out certified to him. I'll probably have Mark work on that tomorrow.
So you do know who the owner of the vehicle
We
is?
did find out the owner of the vehicle. So we're going to send him a notification letting him know that it's abandoned on our property. I just had a couple questions on this, since I figured we'd get it finished up tonight and be done with it. I have a resignation for Officer Mitchell King. It says, "Dear Chief Kurt Geip, I would like to notify you that I am resigning from my position as police officer for Village Beach City, effective July 19, 2021. I have his keys and his badge and everything, so he's already off the schedule and done, but I told him he had a date of July 19th. Either way, we worked it out fine. He's letting me know about a month ago what he was doing. So he's given me a prize to everything. It says, "I want to thank you for the opportunity to work for your department and the trust that was placed in me to patrol and protect the villages that we serve. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time spent with the department and appreciate the knowledge and experiences that were passed on to me. I am accepting a position with the Village of Brewster and I'm looking forward to still working closely with your department and fellow officers. Again, thank you for the opportunity that you provided me and trust that your department, council, and villagers have shown in me. Sincerely, Mitchell King." That is
Motion
your
to
copy.
accept his resignation.
Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
and Bailey.
Yes.
The Explorer is going to need new brakes. Just need approval to get the brakes on it, you're starting to hear them squealing as they're driving. So it's gonna take it up to Nick's garage, he's gonna send me over a quote to get to Debbie, to make sure everything's good, and then as long as you guys are okay with that, I'd like to get new brakes on the SUV. It's normal maintenance on the car. And then I am looking at, the Armory of Wilmot got in a tool, I believe it's a Mantis X10. What it does is it attaches to your firearm, and it'll help you with accuracy and help show my officers what they're doing wrong. And you can do it by dry firing your weapon. So it'll show if you're pulling to the left, pulling to the right, using too much finger in your trigger. You download an app and it's supposed to help you to better perform and better shoot. From what everyone's telling me about it, it's really good, really helpful. The reviews that a couple of individuals have done from gyms have said they've seen tremendous improvement with the cost of ammo and lack thereof. I think it'd be great for me to go have this for my officers. It runs about $250, and they can hook it onto each one of their weapons, just dry fire it, or they can live fire with it, and it'll tell them where their errors are and how to correct it, show them training videos, and it all downloads to an app on their phone to show everything they're doing for $250. I think it would be highly worth the training, and it's gonna save us on ammo. I mean, right now, 9mm rounds are $30 for a box of 50, and that
If
used to
you
be
can
about
find it.
If you can find them, that was they used to be $10 to $12. So for $250, I think it's a necessity and something that would be very well get good use out of. They have people flying in on August 7th to
First
give
Saturday.
demonstrations to show how everything works on it as well. So the company's actually sending people in, and from what I've seen, they have very good reviews on it. And
I watched, I was up there and Jim showed it to me, give me like a 5-minute deal. He hasn't even been through everything it can do. It's amazing. It is. And for $250, it's an amazing thing that you can, and they're gonna have, the demonstration gonna be from 10, I think he said 4.
10 to 4, I
6.
believe, they're flying
Like
right
that,
now.
at the Armory. And he may even set up a little place that, like, have a little competition. And he said there's all kinds of things he's thinking about doing.
But the training
it's-
aspect, I couldn't.
Yeah, for the training thing, I mean, it wouldn't certify him, but you can sit there, you can be in your cruiser and you can just, because he just picked out a thing on the wall and he pointed at it and that gets it, so it's, that's where it's gonna go. And he just sat there and shot. And every time it would tell you whether you slammed the trigger too hard or if you went to the left or right. And then it tells you how to correct it. It's just.
The guys who have used it so
It's
far,
amazing.
yeah, the guys who have used it so far have told Jim that it's improved their shooting and improved how they handle their weapons. So I would definitely, any kind of training and experience that my guys can get, I mean, they can take it to the range, load the weapon, and every shot they make, it's gonna tell them, okay,
Yeah.
you veered to the left because you did this. And it just attached to your gun, it's a sensor, and you download the app and it shows you training videos and all sorts of stuff of what you did wrong and how to correct it.
That's right, yeah, you can do it with live fire.
That's
too.
really cool.
So you can do it dry fire, live fire, obviously all
amazing.
safety protocols and
It's
everything will be in
Do
place
you
for
need
it.
a motion for something?
I need a motion for the SUV new brakes and for this $250 for the, I believe it's a Mantis X10 if I understood them right.
So moved. You've seen that already, Mayor, right?
Yeah, and Jim told me to invite anybody from council to come on up on the 7th.
Okay.
It's at the Armory at Dover.
Armory Wilmot.
They're flying in from Texas.
I second the motion.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
and Bailey.
Yes.
The other thing I'd like to look at is I'd like to look at this fall getting a dumpster for the excessive amount of equipment stuff we have in the garage that's just old, off the inventory stuff that we need to get rid of. Anything that's scrap metal, we can do, I believe they had, the village was, the street department, they would take care of that for us for a while, so I'd like to take care of that and any cabinets and stuff that we have left over that's not scrappable. I'd like to look this fall at getting a dumpster and just be able to, any other department that would want to use it, possibly be able to do that as well. I need to speak with Jim here a little more on it, but just letting you know I'd like to look at getting that this fall. Not make any moves tonight, and just kind of giving you a heads up, I got a lot of stuff to get rid of.
How much junk do you have?
I'm in a garage with old bookshelves and mailbox things and old lockers and
We'll auction that off too when we do the.
Anything with tags?
stuff.
it's all been removed. Everything's been removed from inventory a couple years ago. So it needs to be gotten rid of at this point. With the police vehicle, the fire department's free to take it anytime they want it. I know that's been a question. The police car, the silver one, we made a motion last year, I believe, to give it to the fire department to cut up. So whenever they want it, anything that they left on it when they go to get it, it's theirs. It's just an old white bar. Won't ever reuse it. So, they're more than welcome to take it and do whatever they want, whether it's theirs. We received a check a couple months ago for the catalytic converters on there, like $250. So we cut those off and they're free to have the rest of it.
That'll pay for your hopper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I rented one that was like $300 for a 17-yarder or something.
So that's what I'm looking at right now. The Village of Wilmot purchased a LiDAR. Or is it a $2,500 piece of equipment that we will no longer have to sit parallel along the road when we're running traffic. It's more accurate than radar. Radar is a very good tool to use for courts and everything. LiDAR will allow me to point at one vehicle and tell exactly how fast they're going. If there's 3 vehicles in line, I can point the second one and know their exact speed. So it was a good purchase. We'd be able to use them in both villages, so it's a $2,500 investment that they're putting into the police department. And the other thing they are doing is, I know it's been rumored, but they are moving forward with Mayor's Court, 100% forward with it. They have hired a magistrate. They're in the process of hiring the clerk, which will hopefully be taken care of this week. They're looking at all the training through the Baldwin Group. I believe it's Baldwin. It's a Mayor's Court training and the program. They're getting everything in line with it. I'm letting you guys know probably the contract should cover it, but I want to double check everything to make sure that I can have an officer there and count it against their time, which I believe that will all be covered under a contract that we can do that without having to make any changes. I wanted to bring it up to you guys to let you know that yes, they are 100% planning on starting Mayor's Court. I've already made it very clear to them and their council that yes, I believe this will work. However, I only expect good tickets and it will not be used as a moneymaker at any point. They completely understand. And I believe for the amount of traffic they have in that town, that it would be nice to keep some of the money in their village from citations. So we're still on the testing, getting everything started, making sure everything's on the up and up. Like I said, we do have a magistrate who's doing it, who's going to run the Mayor's Court. So all legal aspects are being looked into. They're planning on doing a dry run the end of this month with the magistrate to make sure all legalities are being handled properly on their end, as well as all the training is being completed that needs to be done, that goes along with Mayor's Court. So I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up that that's what they're doing. And other than that, I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, well, so Chief Anderson is, they got their meeting tonight on Tuesday, so you can read this. Total calls to date, 165, last year, 134. Mutual aid given to Brewster twice, received from Brewster 5 times, and received from Wilmot 1. General information, Squad 135 is at Liberty Ford. We have oil leak, exhaust leak, transmission leak, $3,520 to repair. This was, they didn't know it was gonna be all this, so he talked to me and Debbie, well, basically Debbie. He worried to me first and then I talked to Debbie. But everything's okay on that, we're gonna get that. Then the Brush 139, Squad 136 will go down to Liberty Ford when we get the squad back. Staley's still working, getting that siren back to operational fully 100%. FEMA grant will be awarded soon. We're backing on that. And the ladder testing will be at Brewster on July 15th. So he needs a total of $500 for the ladder testing. And that's all the money that he needs. If anybody wants to make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Was that Bennett?
That was Mr. Richards.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
And Bailey?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Spivey.
Okay, we'll start with water and wastewater like we always do. I'm still waiting to hear back about the trench box grant, haven't had any word on that yet. Still working on the hole in Wilmot for the sewer repair, just a matter of scheduling now, getting the concrete contractor to come over there. We received a insurance check for the switch gear for the County One lift station, and I've contracted with Wood Electric to get the switch gear installed. And so our backup generator system is working again. That should complete that as far as the accident goes. And then we're gonna continue to look at a grant possibly for refurbishing the wet well itself with new pumps and relining. I've been talking with the engineer about options for our stormwater pit, and there are no good grant options for that, so we're gonna continue to look at some kind of funding for that to get the storm pit repaired correctly. On July 8th, I have a rep coming for our metering system, the way we read the meters. We've been finding some issues there with meter reading, so we're looking at upgrading our meter reading system and software. Like we've stated before, the system we have is outdated and it needs to be upgraded for accuracy, and that goes along with replacing some of our water meters as well for accuracy. So I have a rep coming on July 8th, around noon, if anyone wants to come and hear what he has to say. I've posted the job opening for the sewer department. It's on a couple of wastewater websites, and also it should be in the Independent Repository and the Dover Times Reporter this weekend at some point, our advertisement for the job opening. I've already gotten 2 calls of interest for that, so that's looking good. Street department, the paving project is slated to start on July 19th for Main Street. That's the date they'll be coming in to get started there. And thanks to Clerk Debbie, she found us another property that is tax delinquent. So I'm filling out the application for the TAP program that allows us to acquire those properties. I need to get a signature and get a document notarized, and I'll be sending that in, see if we can get that property as well. And it's a vacant property too, so it's a matter of simply selling it. There's no structure on it right at the moment.
There's a lot of cleanup on that one, isn't there?
No, it just needs mowed.
No tires? They must have cleaned it up.
Somebody must have, there's nothing there right now.
There used to be a lot of tires there.
No, I think the neighbor cleaned, the neighbor told me a while back that he mows it all the time,
Mhm.
because he was interested in it,
Yeah.
until he found out the taxes.
What's that?
It's right across the alley from our 3rd Avenue Southeast property that we already have.
The one down with the hole in the roof.
Yeah.
It's the one right beside, on the south side of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a city lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a city lot.
Actually, Amy caught that when I was trying to show her where these properties were, and she went, well, we want that one too, and we looked, and
Sure enough.
Yeah,
it
You used
it
to
was
own that
behind in
property?
taxes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought you did.
I sold it long time ago. Had a truck, four-stall garage, and he lets it go, and it all went in.
I'm still waiting to hear back on the demolition assistance grant for that property across the alley that needs torn down. I haven't heard anything on that, on getting approved for assistance there. I have some new artwork for our lettering on the vehicles, if anyone's interested in looking at it. We've passed it around the office, and everyone seems to agree on 2 different designs that we're probably gonna move forward on getting to letter our village vehicles. And also, I would like to ask council if there's any objection to me applying for the municipal road fund for 2023 to finish the Main Street paving project, which, if you remember, we had applied for it last year and we were rejected for it for this year. So we are able to do this section, but there's both ends that we wanted to do as well. So if there's no objections, I would like to apply for that again.
So that way end up going from 5th up to 7th, and from Town Hill down to the bridge.
That's right.
Do we need a motion on that, Debbie?
Well, he's asking for your permission, so yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I think the only reason why we were, oh, sorry, Debbie.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
and Daley.
Yes.
Thank you, go.
Okay, I think the only reason we was turned down is because they give us money last, for this year, and because they did, it's been 20-some years, so I think we should have a pretty good chance of getting it. Let's get the big sweep done. Okay.
Then the electric department, the digger derrick, we believe we have that issue resolved with the auger. It was a faulty switch up on the boom that was sticking. So they discovered that the last time it was in, and it's been working since. So we actually set a pole today with it, so that should be good. And also, heat is coming in. It's the heating energy assistance program, I think is what it refers to. They have dropped off all the packets for this year, for the summer crisis, and we're asking anyone that would need assistance from HEAP to come in, get your packet, have it filled out and brought back to us by Friday, the 9th. The lady from HEAP is gonna come in and pick them up and then contact each person individually to set up an appointment so that we don't have chaos here at Village Hall when she comes on the 14th to get everybody signed up and start the process. So if you know anyone that would possibly need assistance from HEAP, let them know that we have the packets here and that we need them back by Friday so she can get things started. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Spivey. Solicitor.
So just 2 quick things. First, I had a request for a copy of the poll agreement.
Oh, yeah, Deb.
So I wasn't sure how many we needed.
Yeah, I tried to, you sent it to me, and I tried to print it off, but it would only print on 3/4 of the page, and the other side of it had like
The
the
comments
blocked
and
off,
everything?
yeah, blocked off area,
Okay.
and I couldn't get it off.
I've got enough copies, I believe, for everybody here to take a look at of it. And then the question that I had pending was whether or not the deed at the cemetery, whether or not the fact that these mineral rights have been severed from the surface rights would in any way impact it operating as a cemetery, and pretty uniformly the answer is no. Just like you can sever the subsurface mineral rights and still have a house with a basement or other structure underneath, the cemetery could be there, and most likely they would not have the right to go in and tear. The courts give high respect for interred dead bodies, so they wouldn't be able to go in and tear it out and put a well there. Hundreds or thousands of feet below that, they may engage in mineral extraction, but it shouldn't impact the cemetery itself.
So, does that mean that we can, what were we doing this for? Was this so we could,
We had the question answered as to whether or not, what kind of headstones or grave, or tombstones were permitted there. And then during that meeting, the question that came up was who owns the mineral rights, which were severed off.
okay.
And we don't own them, and someone had, it was in my notes, someone had said, well, what, how does that impact the ability to operate as a cemetery?
Because the section in question that Stanford owned is not inside the corporation limits.
And we were thinking about
Incorporating that.
incorporating it.
Okay.
And we didn't know if that had anything that would stop it from being.
The mineral rights?
Yeah.
Because there was something I thought in the contract that talked about the mineral
Well, there
rights.
is.
And
Yeah.
and in the incorporation of that field, and that's what I was worried that we would invest time to looking into it or money and we couldn't incorporate it anyhow.
I think that we could, to annex it?
Yeah.
And what would the purpose of annexation?
To be called, that's not a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Got it, okay, I was
No.
gonna say, there's not many taxpayers in there that I can
No.
think of, but, okay.
I don't know, there's a lot of them that vote.
Even if you
yeah.
don't even ask them.
What's that?
Even if you don't even ask them.
That's right, they do it anyway.
And that's all that I had.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Jim, I have one question.
There you go.
What did we do on the sweeper, anything?
No, we did not. This is second reading for the legislation to sell it.
Oh, okay.
And I do have information, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. On pricing for those, the truck and the sweeper, the old dump truck and the sweeper, I think we'll just get whatever we can. But as far as the tractor goes, it does have some value. And I've looked online at other tractors that are very similar to that one for sale. And anywhere from $600 to $6,500, $6,800 is the going rate on the internet. So if council wants to set a minimum bid for the tractor when the legislation goes through, I would suggest around $5,000 so that we can at least sell it. But it is likely worth that.
So we got to do the third reading then first.
Yes, and if you want to add the minimum bid for the tractor, that would be my suggestion.
I think if I just pass a motion on that, right, Stephen? That's-
Yeah.
Okay. We would need it in the
What's
ordinance.
the amount, I'm sorry?
$5,000. Like to set the amount,
Oh, yeah,
we just so they.
for the sale.
But we wouldn't need
Yeah,
to.
I think that's.
Okay. That'd just be their suggestion.
So we'll actually vote at the next one.
Reserve, yeah. That'd be like the reserve price on it. All right, we have anything else?
I have.
Sure.
I have an update on the festival that I've been working on.
Okay.
Jim and I sat down and we kind of kicked around. I really would like to get one going for the fall. And it'll have to be short notice, so we're gonna try to provide something during the days of the yard sale. And so we figured, my group, about Jim, thought we would do it on a Friday because the fire departments have their barbecue on Saturday. And we didn't want to be in competition with it. And so Jim was gracious enough to provide us with some information for me to kind of put on the trail to get things together. So we chose Friday evening between 5 and 7. August is typically very hot, and we didn't want to get something in the afternoon that people couldn't stay out for a long period of time. So we kind of figured that in the evening it'd work, and so we was able to get a hold of the department out of Worcester, and he supplied me with names of entertainers that we could approach to try to get someone in, and also to think about getting some food trucks in. So, as far as the entertainment, I was able to get a group out of Millersburg called The Last Call, is what their names are. And we talked about the price, and they said it was anywhere from $200 to $250. And so I kind of talked to her a while, and she said, well, she was originally from Big City, so she would do the program for $100. And so I couldn't afford that. So we have them lined up. I did check with, Jim gave me a card on a food truck from Chick-fil-A, and, or Chick-fil-A, wherever it is. So I called them, but he said his truck would be in repairs from August till September, October. So that was out. I did put an ad in Far Corners and the Bargain Hunter seeking entertainment and food trucks. So that'll be coming out this week. So we're working on that. I do need to ask Jim about electric to the gazebo.
I'll have to
Group
look
said
into that. Okay.
So I'll need electric for that. So that's the plan, and if we come up empty-handed for food trucks, then we're gonna take on the challenge of doing the concession stand. So,
What's the date on that again, Hazel?
August the 20th.
I'm sorry, what did you run the ad for? Ad was for food trucks and what?
Entertainment, musical entertainment.
And that was from 5 to 7?
Yes. So hopefully and I use my own personal address on that, just festival committee labeled on that. So I'm hoping I'll get the information in my mailbox. So it could be, we could get overwhelmed or we could get ourselves. So I'm gonna go medium. But we're trying to cover all the bases that we can provide something and still see how it goes.
I have a question for you. You mentioned to Fire Chief about having maybe a chicken dinner that Saturday on the 21st.
I suggested that would be a good date for his next one, yes.
Did he come back and tell you yes or no? Because a few weeks prior to you setting this date, the Lions Club called me and they were planning on having a chicken dinner and holding it at the park. Do you know if they rented the park or was? I just thought I'd mention it.
He said, the chief said he had to check with the council over
The other
there
association.
to make sure that was a good date for them, so I haven't heard back from him on that.
The Legion's having their dinner that night too, on the 21st.
I guess I'll be really busy.
Busy running around picking up food.
Picking up food.
I didn't think they did theirs until the fall, the Legion.
Oh, Legion's been having theirs.
But it
The
didn't have
state,
last
the Swiss
time,
steak
too.
dinners?
No, not the.
I don't know if they have it in August.
They don't have it
Oh,
during
maybe
the
they
summer
don't have it
months.
in August.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's no air
Was May the
conditioning
last
down
one
there.
then?
And we used to skip, I think it was July and August. 'cause
So it
was
was
just-
May or June, May was June, did they have one this?
They didn't have one in June.
Okay, so May was the last one, okay. Well, that's good then. Might be some competition, might be a lot of chicken eating
I mean, they can check with them,
there.
but
Yeah,
I don't think it's either September or October before they have.
yeah, you're probably right, but I don't think so. All right, is there anything else? Thank you, Hazel. All right, have a good evening.